at the end of the day, I always root for chaos.
Welcome to Her Sports Convo with Ashleigh Wilson.
Hey y'all, welcome back. Crazy to see you here again. Hope you had a good week last week. Hope you have a good week this week. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Honestly, not that much has happened as the last time we spoke. We were going through some difficult times, and I personally have moved on past it. The pain has subsided and the joy is left. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out last week's episode and literally the past 4 videos I've posted on the Her Sports Convo YouTube channel. You'll get the gist of what I'm talking about. But as one of the major things that occurred this week was the WNBA draft, as it literally happened yesterday for me. And let me tell you, I love women's basketball as much, probably more than the next gal sitting in the room. But when I tell y'all, every time I watch the WNBA draft, the outfits just break my heart. Just in case you don't know, every year during the NFL draft and the NBA draft, I rank their outfits because it's a big part of the day. You know what I mean? And every year when the WNBA draft comes around, these ladies just continuously disappoint me. And I'm like, I don't really understand, because if you know, the WNBA outfits, like the things these ladies wear when they be walking into the stadium, are some of the most killer, coldest outfits out there out of any league. So I don't understand. Do they have to like get in the league and then they're like, oh, let me teach you how to dress now? Some of them girls were up there looking like they were about to lead praise and worship. I love the Lord, but hey, we don't need to be looking like we're about to lead praise and worship when we're getting drafted into the WNBA. There's a time and place for everything. Like, come on now, y'all. But I would definitely give best dress to our gal, Destanni Henderson. Oh my God, that baby blue suit. And then she designed her own shoes herself through her own company. Like, 10 out of 10. We all know I favor Destanni Henderson, as literally she has the best hair in college basketball this season. I just don't understand how we get there. And like I said, some of them were okay. Like, you know, you had old girl from NC State. Oh, what's her name? Elise Kuan. Like, her outfit was good. If she would have lost the jacket, it would have been more memorable. It was just like some people tried and didn't get there, and some people just didn't try at all, or they got dressed in the dark. Like, I don't really understand what's going on. So, ladies, next year draft, y'all call me up. We can get our outfits together, and then maybe we'll have something to talk about. But congratulations to all of those women whose dreams came true. As I always say, the WNBA is the hardest league to make it in, and they even showed the graphic before it started showing that like only 1% of the people who play get drafted, and then only like 0.8 actually play a game if they are drafted. So I've always said it, and I'll keep saying it. The WNBA needs to expand. 144 players. Come on. I would say I'm willing to like join an ownership group, but we all know I don't have the funds. But I will support. Like I said, it's just so sad knowing that, you know, because even last year, like, a lot of the women who got drafted in the first round, they didn't even stay past training camp. So the WNBA is tough to beat, but they start in like 2 to 3 weeks, which again is kind of insane because they just got done playing college basketball like last week. Now they're going into training camp, and then in 2 weeks from now, they'll be starting their first game of the season. Like, WNBA is the wildest league out there. Try to tell me anything else, you're wrong. It's the hardest league. It's the wildest league. And big ups to all those women who got drafted, the ones who didn't, and the ones who got invitations to training camp. Because as we've seen so many WNBA stories, that it doesn't begin and end at the draft. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen this season, because Indiana Fever, I know they got like 95 people on their roster right now because they had all the picks in the draft. So I'm excited who will, you know, make their final roster come the beginning of May, because they drafted almost everybody in the draft last night. And oh my gosh, I almost forgot to talk about Grandma Brenda, y'all. Y'all really gonna let me forget to talk about Grandma Brenda? If you don't know what I'm talking about, what's her name? She got drafted 3rd. You can go look it up. The girl who got drafted number 3 in the draft last night, she wanted her grandma to wear this outfit to the draft night. And Holly Rowe was going around showing her outfit. Grandma had on her Easter outfit 4 days before Easter. Like, hey, I'm not shaming grandma for it, but Easter is in 7 days, and you got it on about a week too early, grandma. But she looked good. She had that silver hat on. She had that purple suit. Like, it was a vibe. And honestly, grandma was up there in the best dress because, again, the girls were not bringing what needs to be brung. And I also have to give a major shout out to Amisha Williams-Holiday, as she was the first person drafted from an HBCU in 19 years, which I think that's like 2001. Don't get me caught up in those numbers. But she was the first person drafted in 19 years from an HBCU, and the second highest person drafted from a HBCU in the WNBA draft. And, you know, big props to her. Like, again, as I said, the WNBA is the hardest place to make it. But, you know, showing that you can get drafted coming from a non-Power 5 conference, or just like not a Tennessee, a UConn, a South Carolina, and you know, there was a lot of other girls in the draft who got drafted, and they were at mid-majors as well. You know, you had Kirsten Bell. She got drafted in the first round, and she went to Florida Gulf Coast. So them having that success not only helps the programs in which they came from, but also just helps people see that there's more opportunities. You don't get that call from Gino, Dawn, Kim Mulkey. Like, you still have a chance to make it into the WNBA and accomplish this dream. So best of luck, again, to everyone out there, because it's going to be a hard road ahead, but there's a lot of talent in the WNBA this year, as always. And I guess since we're talking about basketball, let's talk about the NBA. As, you know, as the casual fan I am, I definitely tuned into the last games of the season on Sunday, because that's the life I live. But I have said this about game 82, the last game of the season, for the past 2 to 3 years, that it's literally just the day for the G League two-way contract / bitch warmer guys to have a field day. Because, like, what's the point? Like, most people have locked up their spots, or they have seen, like in the case of Milwaukee, they were able to see the Nets win their game. So the Nets had locked down the number 7 seed, and they were like, okay, we're not going to start our friends because we don't want to play the Nets in the first round of the playoffs. And so they literally started Giannis's brother. And, you know, if Giannis's brother is starting, you mean we're not going out here to really try to do anything. So I think that is just kind of the most interesting things about the NBA in their season, as well as I've always said it, but the season is just unnecessarily long. And them adding the play-in tournament has just further give less value to the regular season, because half the league already makes it to the playoffs. And now you're adding 4 more teams. Like, come on now. But hey, we're in the play-in tournament. It starts tonight. Y'all know what happened. I don't, but I'm excited to see. I will definitely be tuning in to see can the Nets beat the Cavaliers. But I kind of like, is the Cavs gonna like beat the Nets? Like, I'm here for it, but I'm not here for it, because, you know, at the end of the day, I always root for chaos. At the end of the day, I always root for chaos, no matter where it is, what it will be. I love the drama. So if, you know, the Nets losing to the Cavs presents the drama, hey, I'm here for it. Outside of, you know, the longevity of the season and the addition to the play-in tournament, we have to talk about one of the most interesting things that occurred this season. And I was one of the people excited for it. And again, I'm not even like a diehard Lakers fan like that. I'm just a basketball girly. The Lakers and their failed experiment. Arguably one of the most failed experience of all time. As we all know, you were excited. I was excited about Carmelo and Russell and Rondo and LeBron and Anthony Davis all coming together in LA. And we kind of just put on our blinders and didn't think about that. All these guys kind of do the same thing. And LeBron is the best at doing that at all of them. So we really didn't think about that. But it showed itself in reality as the season went on. And it never really turned that corner that a lot of people were hoping for. As well as just at the end of the day, like, what better story can you write than, you know, Russell Westbrook, hometown kid, comes back to the NBA team, wins a ring, and then he wins it with his friend LeBron, and he wins it with Melo. And, you know, I'm a big Melo stan. Like, Carmelo Anthony, my guy. And so if he would have won that ring, that would have been amazing. But I just think that, you know, we call LeBron the GM and all that good stuff, and this time it didn't work out. I do think the way they fired Frank Vogel was kind of shady, But, that's just how the wheels turn. But, hey, you fired him and he didn't even know he was getting fired until, well, people said he didn't know he was getting fired. But I feel like in that situation, you kind of know you're getting fired. They just haven't like called you and been like, we're firing you. You know what I mean? Like you got your feelers out there for where you can go next. You just don't have any confirmation of where you're going next. But I think it's kind of rude to like blame LeBron for this failed experiment. And here's why. We all know, even Magic said like LeBron was pulling to get Russell onto the team. Who's shocked by that? None of us. And at the end of the day, yes, LeBron shouldn't be wasting the last few magical years and he should be saving his body, because at the end of the day, we all want to see LeBron play with Bronny in the NBA, because that's just going to be fun times for all. I just think that it's unfair for fans to be like, oh, LeBron is a bad GM. Look what he did. The team is awful, blah, blah, blah. But it worked out because they won a championship. Now, yes, they didn't win a championship in this case, but in every situation where you pull a flag or you trade a player and get rid of this team and do-da-da-da, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It worked out in their favor by when they traded AD and they ended up winning the championship in 2020. Was that 2020 or 2021? I don't really know where that season was kind of calculated into the NBA universe, but I do think that you got to give the man credit where credit is due. Like that move with AD, that was a good move. Now AD's probably played a grand total of what, 60 games in the past 2 seasons, if that. So you can't really blame it all on Westbrook or LeBron. Like you got to look at the whole sphere, or Frank Vogel in this case, since he's the only one that technically got fired. And you can't really blame it on just one person or 2 people, because when they went into this idea, they didn't know, 7 games into this experiment, we were going to lose a key piece. So, and then 12 days later in this experiment, another key piece was not going to be on his scoring streak and not going to be, his most confident self and playing the best basketball we're used to him playing. So these are just things that I think when you get like the idea of like, oh my gosh, me and my friends are going to blah, 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 do this, that. And then when you realize, oh, wait, I didn't think about this and I didn't think about that. That's kind of what deterred their season. But at the end of the day, Russell Westbrook's still making $44 million. LeBron's still going to be their GM, pulling the strings, trying to figure it out. And hopefully AD can get himself right in this offseason and be around for more than like 12 games next season. For the Lakers' sake, because they got a lot. They're going to need a big bounce back from this season, just for their fans' sake and for just the NBA in general, because I know people love hating on the Lakers. Like, it's got to be fun to like hate on the Lakers. I can't relate. When a team like that isn't doing well, it really just hurts the league in general. Not to be that girl, not to be that guy, but it does. And so if we can get that team on a caliber, it makes it even more fun, especially in the West, when you have the Memphis Grizzlies like playing out of their minds right now. And, the standard Utah Jazz, who do well in the regular season and kind of flop in the offseason. But hey, if that's the life you live, that's the life you live. So whoever they get to be this new coach, I heard there's like rumors that it's going to be Mark Jackson, but I hope it's not going to be Mark Jackson, because that's going to be an even hotter mess than what they had this season. So hopefully they just let that rumor fly and go by and don't give it any water to that plant, because Lord have mercy. And as the season is ending, everyone is in their discussions about Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year, Player of the Year, MVP, all those good things. And a conversation I have seen and overheard over the past 2 to 3 days is that Ja Morant should win Most Improved Player. And I don't understand that. No offense to Ja Morant. I think Ja Morant has moved skies and bounds since, he decided to enter the league. But you can't win Most Improved Player and you were the 2nd overall pick. You can't do that. You can't win Most Improved Player and you were the 2nd overall pick. You can't. That's not how it works. It's more like, oh, you're finally doing what we thought you could do. Like, come on now. Like, that's just unrealistic to think that someone who we thought was going to be great turned out, oh my gosh, they turned out to be great. Like, are you trying to pat your own self on the back? I don't get it. I definitely think you give it to like Desmond Bane from the Memphis Grizzlies if we wanted to give somebody from the Memphis Grizzlies. Tyler Hero definitely should win 6th Man of the Year. Y'all thought I weren't paying attention. I was just a casual. Monty Williams should win Coach of the Year because he should have won it last year. Don't think I forgot. And I don't know who should win MVP. Some people think it should be Trae Young. I mean, I could see that. Everyone wants to put their vote in for Giannis and LeBron and Steph. But I don't know. I'm excited to see who does win. But I know John Morant better not win Most Improved Player because what? And I know we haven't been talking about football because who cares? It's the offseason. And all the drama has come and passed as, I was busy watching basketball when all the NFL drama happened. But it wouldn't be right for me to end off the podcast and not talk about Dwayne Haskins. Rest his soul. And most importantly, how, some weirdos on the internet have decided to do that. Now, I'm not one person to believe in you shouldn't speak ill of the dead. That's not the life I live. That's not what my beliefs are. But I do think there's a time and a place for everything. And a time and a place for everything is not what Mr. Adam Schefter decided to do. He said multiple times, he had 3 different Twitter posts, 3 chances, and still didn't manage to do the right thing. Like, come on now, Adam. Like, everybody's already looking at you side-eyed from your, Brady's going to retire thing. And then Brady was like, not sure about that. Like, this is your 2nd strike, Adam. You're working on your 3rd. You need to pull it back. You need to go find your chill, Adam. And it wasn't just him. It was like other people who brought up, Dwayne struggled in his first year in the league. Again, he might struggle a little harder than most people would have thought, but that's part of the game. Like the NFL to college, that's not the same level. And there's growing pains, and he was growing from those growing pains. Like, yes, some of the things he did was mostly from off the field things, but what does this have to do with the fact of you announcing that this man died by getting hit by a car? What in the world did those 2 things relate to each other? That's all I'm saying. And when people are talking about why do these 2 things associate with each other? And I even saw a few people were like, well, Dwayne Haskins, he's only known for that. And that's so not true. CJ Stroud wouldn't have him without Dwayne Haskins. Justin Fields wouldn't have him without Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins was the first to put a light on, you can be a great quarterback at Ohio State and take that career somewhere else, and specifically into the NFL. And the things we've seen from players so far at Ohio State wouldn't have been possible without Dwayne Haskins and what he did. He was the blueprint for not only staying the quarterback position, but just, creating a winning program and a winning team. And yes, Ohio State has a story past when they were winning, but, I'm talking about bringing it into this new age of football and the way they newly play. And so if you think microdosing and microanalyzing one part of this man's entire football career is what you should be talking about after he died, is kind of weird. You're weird. You're being a weirdo. Don't be a weirdo. Be normal. Well, not to leave this episode on a sad note, but that's all I got. So make sure to like, comment, rate, subscribe wherever you decide to listen to your podcast today. Head on over to Instagram and follow at Her Sports Convo to stay up to date on all things Her Sports Convo. Check out the Her Sports Convo main channel YouTube, where I post new videos every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as check out the podcast channel, Her Sports Convo Podcast, where I post new episodes every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can watch me talk to myself every single week. This is it. The NBA playoffs start, so be prepared for to talk about the NBA. Go watch the play-in tournament. Go watch halfway through the first round, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand how time works. But as always, be safe, have fun, and don't be afraid to join the convo.